The discussion over gender ideology in schools is often a controversial one, and that was certainly the case at a town hall for B.C United leader Kevin Falcon. Rebel News was on site to bring you coverage of that report when child protection activist Billboard Chris posed a question to Falcon, and that question got a little heated.
What a joke. You can all clap all you want. They're getting nothing accomplished.
My final parting comment to you will be this.
You didn't answer my question.
Go run for office then. You've got all the answers. Run for office and you'll see how you do.
Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, where we bring you the other side of the story, and that includes matters like radical gender ideology in schools and how many parents, including in British Columbia, have had enough with it, whether it be resources that have been improved by Western Canada's SOGI 123, a sexual orientation gender identity program that makes sexually explicit books like the ones you're seeing on the screen normalized as some sort of inclusive human right to be in school libraries. Those are some of the issues we pose, and we see other places making a stand against this. Like in Alberta, Premier Daniel Smith recently made some very reasonable guidelines for how their province will be helping children who struggle with gender dysphoria by making sure they're not able to make any life-altering changes that they may regret when their brain is further developed as an adult. And we've seen her be labeled as some sort of bigot for doing so. Just a few days ago, England's government said that no more publicly funded gender clinics will be prescribing puberty blockers for kids due to harms like they're causing weakness in bone density and there being no real science to support that it's even helping these children. Or there is the recent leak of hundreds of discussions between clinicians who are aligned with WPATH, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, the organization that's supposed to set the gold standards for how to care for people, including minors, when it comes to medically transitioning. Those conversations show that much of these clinicians are making things up as they go, and their decisions are not based on medicine or science, and unfortunately are at the expense of vulnerable adults and children. So with all of that in store, Mr. Elston, Billboard Chris, decided to ask Kevin Falcon a question that notably was very similar to the question we already covered before in Surrey at a town hall, except this time things got a little heated. Take a look.
Thank you. My name is Chris Elston. Some of you will know me from social media by my nickname, Billboard Chris. I travel around the world raising awareness about what I consider to be the greatest child abuse scandal in the history of modern medicine, which is the business of giving children puberty blockers, the opposite sex's hormones, and surgeries. They're cutting off the breasts of girls as young as 14 years old in British Columbia. They're teaching them in schools that they have a gender identity which may be different than their sex. Now, I know this subject is more new to you, and I know you're a good guy, but we have a serious problem here in British Columbia, where this NDP government, they might as well call themselves the trans party. They push this so hard. And on the right, we have two parties who are now splitting the vote. You're currently projected to win 4 seats. The Conservative Party is projected to win 6. The NDP are guaranteed a majority. They're projected to win 81. You don't speak up enough about these cultural issues. There are many parents in the room who know exactly what I'm talking about. Just down the street, at Langley Fine Arts School, I met with 2 parents last year where their daughter had been indoctrinated to believe she was a boy, and the school hid this from them. 3 times they asked the school if something was going on because they could see their daughter's mental health spiraling downwards. 3 times they were lied to. Her 3 children at that school estimate that 45 girls in middle school are identifying as boys or as non-binary, and they're hiding this from the parents. So, these cultural issues have split the right in British Columbia. What do you plan on doing about gender ideology in schools? What do you plan on doing medically so that we stop sterilizing children, a majority of whom have autism, many of whom are in state care? Dr. Wallace Wong, who works for the Ministry of Children and Families, says he's personally transitioning more than 500 children in state care.
If I'm talking about my private practice altogether, I see more than 1,000. officer. So that's quite significant of them. So in this 500 of them, so we're talking about in this like within like 10 years, it's 125 times increase. So you can imagine the demand of service is soaring. But we're training professional, it takes time, right? We train a resident, it takes about a couple of years to do it. The research, we try to keep up the pace, but the phenomenal is happening a lot faster than we expected.
52% of these kids in Canada are Indigenous. So what are we going to do about this ideology in schools, this medical abuse, and what are we going to do to unite the right so we don't get these communists in the NDP in power for 4 or 8 more years?
Okay, thank you. So Chris, like I discussed at the Surrey thing, I get these are sensitive issues, right? But they deserve to be addressed. We can't have politicians being squeamish about this stuff. I think that we also have to recognize that, you know, for many of us, this is a pretty recent development, right? For a lot of parents right around the world, this whole concept.
For you, but not for the parents whose children are being indoctrinated into this, not for the parents who are being lied to, not for the fathers whose daughters are being sterilized and are having their womb cut out because they're powerless to do anything about this. This is child abuse, and as long as you're silent, you're complicit.
Okay, I'm not silent.
You are silent.
Okay, you can sit down now, Chris. Thank you. You've made your point. You made it last time we met too. But here's the thing I would say. I do think tone matters. I do think you have to be careful about the kind of language you use too. It's important that we are talking about children, and we do have to protect children. I agree with you. And we have to make sure that parents are involved in these decisions. But I think it's very, very important that we understand that a lot of this is new to the medical profession. There's a lot of people struggling and now realizing that, geez, maybe we do need to take a second look at that. Don't chase them away. Let's try and bring people together. I think we can bring people together, and rational, common sense people can say, I get these are challenging issues. Let's sit down and figure out if there's a way that we can do this that protects the interests of kids, that makes sure we recognize that, you know, every child is unique and different. We want to make sure that parents are involved in that discussion. I think we can do that without, you know, making it like we're attacking people.
Whoa. In England, the National Health Service today said that no more children will be getting puberty blockers, but you're silent on it. And you have all these great plans and these great projects, but it's all for nothing because you're going to get 4 seats. So start talking about the issues that matter to parents.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
What a joke. You can all clap all you want. They're getting nothing accomplished.
Chris, my final parting comment to you will be this.
You didn't answer my question.
Go run for office then. You've got all the answers. Run for office and you'll see how you do.
Far more effective. Far more effective. People like you who do nothing about this child abuse. So I'll get tens of thousands of votes from and guys who will do something. It's time for you to wake up.
At Rebel News, we don't back down from telling you the other side of the story. And if you appreciate the work that we do on letting parents know about gender ideology in schools, you can go to our special website called stopclassroomgrooming.com. There you can donate what you can to help support that coverage. But most importantly, you can read through other reports like this and share so that more are aware. Again, that's stopclassroomgrooming.com.